Hello everybody and welcome to the opening night for Wings and Wheels and its MX-5 series presented by GGT Energy Solutions. This evening, we're excited to bring you coverage of all the action from iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. Maconi Entertainment is here to bring you action from all types of racing, including Fast Fridays. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. My name's Justin Prince, alongside me for the opening night of this series and this season. Braden Laster also joining us tonight is Ray Mulvihill. DJ Line is working the controls as our producer tonight from Florida. Wings and Wheels and its MX-5 series kicking off tonight is a league that consists of racing in the Mazda MX-5 cars. It's launching its inaugural season here tonight after a firework-filled finish for its exhibition at Charlotte. Drivers consist from both the virtual world as well as from the real world. Competitors coming from multiple series in turn. That includes the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup and some of its championship frontrunners. Drivers will compete at both road courses and ovals throughout this series. The champion will be crowned after 10 points-paying races and 2 exhibitions. Braden, tonight we kick things off here in Florida, the World Center of Racing, Daytona Beach, Florida. Back-to-back events, in fact, but the first of the points-paying races. What should we expect to see from a drafting track like tonight?
That is a fan and driver favorite alike. Going to the road course here, oval, it will be the next time out in the exhibition race. But road course opened here in 1966, and I'm going to tell you, it has put on a show every single race since. Depending on which track map you're looking at, anywhere from 11 to 14 corners. Some guys look at the bus stop there on the back stretch, call that 4 corners. Some call it 2, some call it 1. But regardless of where you're at, or 2 wide, 3 wide, or kind of by yourself, you're going to have tons of great action. We saw last week in that exhibition event at Charlotte. Drafting was a huge deal, and we're on a lot bigger track, a lot bigger layout, coming at just over a mile bigger overall in track length than we were last week. So drafting can be the name of the game here tonight.
And Ray, turning over to you, you're one of the main figures when it comes to the start of this series and from Wings and Wheels Foundation. How does it feel to see this series come to fruition and see a lot of the talent coming out tonight, some of the top drivers in all this type of racing, as well as in all of iRacing coming out to start off this season?
Yeah, absolutely. This has been in the works for multiple months now. A lot of the Wings and Wheels drivers have been key components on helping organize this, as well as other Nathan Nicholson helping with making the setups for the season. This is just, it's overwhelming actually seeing this happen right now. And I'm super excited. I want to thank Maconi Entertainment. I want to thank our big sponsor, GGT Energy Solutions. They have been huge in helping make this possible.
And tonight should be a fun one to start off the season, but qualifying's almost complete. But that being said, let's go to your national anthem to start off tonight's action from Kirsten Webb from Paris, Illinois.
Twilight's last
And welcome back, everyone, to Daytona as we get set to go racing once again. Kirsten Webb, your national anthem singer, here tonight from iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway. Drivers are getting the checkered flag for the qualifying session at the moment. There is runoff time for the next minute, but I'll ask you this to start off, Braden. What are your keys to this race here tonight?
I mean, you can be the fastest guy on the road, and we're going to look at the qualifying times here in a minute or so. And you'll see that Joshua Soto on the pole is definitely one of the quickest people on this platform, and definitely tonight's race. But even though he's 7/10 quicker, you're going to have a long time to sit there and kind of be vulnerable up front. You're going to have a lot of fast guys using that draft behind you. But 45 minutes expected race distance, coming in about 18 to 23 laps. So ton of opportunity to make up lost time, even if you're not the quickest guy on the road, like I mentioned, or quickest female for that. We have a couple female races racing with us tonight. So 45 minutes though, about 18, 23 laps. One quicker period if you need it. Hopefully you don't. Unlimited tires, but you don't really want to have to come down and take tires. Cautions aren't expected, although if we end up tearing up the entire field in the turn one, you can expect a yellow flag. And fuel, we have something we have watched tonight. They are on a fixed setup tonight, so they're going to have to manage their fuel and have to pit at least one time over the course of this 45-minute race.
And that's going to be an interesting one to manage here for this race, because fuel management came up at Charlotte for some. We've seen the caution in turn make things a bit simpler then, but that was an exhibition. Now we're getting ready for points paying time, and depending on how things go, they may not get said caution, Ray, that they need to be able to make it. They'll have to think about pit stops.
Yeah, definitely taking things a little bit more seriously. If you need caution, you can't just kind of ask for it. I have some justification there. So like I said, though, no planned cautions, but we have a bigger wreck, and there's a lot of runoff area here at Daytona compared to a St. Pete or a Long Beach. So I don't expect a caution. If we see a caution tonight, though, we've done something.
Now let's take a look at how we'll start tonight to begin a new season and begin the inaugural race for points pay for Wings and Wheels on iRacing. Joshua Soto, we talked about it, set the pole time in group qualifying. He set it by half a second. That was over Ayrton Hauk. Then, in the second row, keep an eye on this row, because one of your contenders last race was Aaron Jeansonne. He is the rear points leader for the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup Pro standings. Nathan Nicholson, the top rookie in that series, one of your contenders for the race last time. The winner of the exhibition last week, that ended up going to Pietek. He'll start in 5th position tonight. He'll start alongside Deacon Greenfield in the Courage Motorsport entry. The next page features 7th spot Brian Sebelski, should say, with James Watson in the 8th position. Your other qualifiers for time, Braden, were Joshua Straka and Joseph Burns. Everyone else starting towards the back to you.
Then you got Trey Burke there, first driver not to take a time. One of the quicker drivers actually in practice, ton of roll-off experience. We've talked about him. Keith Carpenter, though, to his outside, also like to not take a time. Then you got Glenn Richardson and Sally Mott rolling off in the back. Big Glenn on Twitter has a bit of a Twitter personality going on. Sally Mott, real world road course racer herself, so one female is joining us this season.
Well, that's what talked about him at your one-year here tonight. 14 entries to start off the new season. All drivers have made their way to the grid. Ray, your thoughts on what you expect to see for the start of a new campaign for you guys here tonight?
I'm expecting it to be unexpected at this point. I think we're going to have a lot of guys working together. The draft's going to be huge. I know all week the guys have been talking about how much the draft's going to play a part in this race. Seeing who chooses to work together early on. Talked about strategy earlier, the fuel. We know they have to pit at least once. So are they going to do it early on, or are they going to wait till the end? We'll have to stay tuned and find out.
Going to be an interesting one tonight. Your pick for tonight, Braden, and why?
I gotta go with Soto on the front row. Quickest in practice, quickest in qualifying, and I think he knows how to play that draft quite a bit. So see if he's able to play it to his cards.
Who's your pick, Ray?
I got to go with Aaron. Aaron Jeansonne, he's driven, he's competitive, and this is one that, keep an eye on that 24 tonight.
It should be a fun time, especially with the inside row. Keep an eye, I think, as well. Pietek with the win last time out, has the virtual experience with Delta Sport, one of the higher up teams for this style of racing on the platform. But it's time for Wings and Wheels to kick things off tonight from iRace Virtual Daytona International Speedway. The green flag's out. We're racing at Daytona. And a clean run to the in and out to start things off 2 by 2. But the outside, Haug trying to make it stick, overshoots the corner, already 3 wide for second to start off the racing.
Yeah, Haug getting shuffled back through the field here. Jeansonne and Nicholson quick to take advantage of his mistake. Now still side by side, going through the international horseshoe. That's Piatek on the outside, but Soto continues to lead.
And there is a couple different mainstakes when it comes to racing like this here tonight as well to keep an eye, Braden, will be, can you do well in the infield? Because it doesn't matter how much the draft you have if you don't do well in these first 5, 6, 7 plus turns.
Yeah, there's a bit of a buffer, about second and a half. Once you get further out than that, and the person in front of you can't, or the person behind you can't draft off you. So if you're a second half quicker in the infield, able to pull away the same way Soto has. Nothing too advantageous yet over Nicholson or Jeansonne, but there's a couple bigger gaps throughout this field already.
Already one driver nearly loses the back of the group is Burns, but you see how some of the grouping starting to form up for the first major run to the draft. Out through NASCAR 2 currently. Piatek amongst one of the drivers to keep an eye on from Delta Sport. Also races Spec Miatas in real life competition. Electing to already save a bit of fuel, Ray, in the midst of the draft train.
Yeah, absolutely. Watching them all just kind of follow the line. They know this is a 45-minute race. Got to keep your fenders on the whole 45 minutes to be able to get this race finished.
And as well as the night progresses, it's going to be interesting to see which drivers are able to make up time. Because one thing's for certain at Daytona, Braden, on this road course, yes, there's a lot of draft, but you need track position to be in that pack to be there.
100%. It's his lead pack here. It's about a 4-ish car breakaway. You got, Oliveira, Piatek, Jeansonne, Nicholson, and Soto. And then you got some guys catching up. Look at the huge run by Hook and Greenfield there to close up, going in the in and out. And we have a 7-car battle still for lead after 1 lap.
Right, Bergamonsto's looking a bit aggressive here. Trying to peek out as you see how things fared in the middle of the group. Nobody elected to swap around yet, with that fuel mileage on the minds of many. One around, Sally Mott at the back of the field. That's going to end up here to pit road. So Mott, one of the railroad racers for the Whelen Mazda MX-5 series, not having the fun time there to start off lap 2.
Now I think she just tried to do a little downshift too early, trying to help the car rotate, and this car came around by itself on her no harm, no foul. That's going to be a long tow getting to pit road, riding on board. They're not on board, but watching back, see what happened. Number 15, Sally Mott, goes through in and out, through turn 1, through turn 2, and just loses it.
And
that's a donut, though. That's a great donut.
Yeah, kept it out of the racing line with that, too. And keep in mind, Sally does have the experience that will be mentioned, but also was one of the top drivers, in fact, the winner of last year's scholarship from Mazda Motorsports, Ray.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I met Sally this past weekend there in Mid-Ohio. She's very, very energetic, brings a nice personality to the MX-5 Cup, and she's been awesome to join the series here.
The pack itself, just about 4 minutes through the action so far. No major leapfrogs yet. Nicholson is on the prowl, though. And the setup builder, known for having good speed. We talked about some of the virtual experience from the last time out. This time out, the Mazda factory driver already looking to be ready, in the very least, in setup position. It looks like he'll look for the race lead. He's got a lot of help behind him. Everybody.
It's shake and bake slingshot time for the first time this race. The leader will not be Joshua Soto. Here comes Nathan Nicholson to the lead. That's Aaron Jeansonne right behind him. Oliver Piatek and Ayrton Haug right there in the line. All flew by Joshua Soto like he was standing still.
And it's real awesome, guys, watching Nathan Nicholson and Aaron Jeansonne. They're teammates in real life as well, guys. So seeing them work together here, these guys have They know each other. They know how each other races. And being able to see them sitting 1-2, I can't say I'm surprised.
And a lot of drivers trying to take advantage of Soto. Now a bit of a dive to the inside. That is Hauk. Got a little bit rubby from the 58 on the 07. A bit squeezing once again. But Soto, one of the drivers with a fair amount of virtual experience on top of the real world racing, doing well on the defensive despite all this pressure and despite some of the dive attempts from Hauk still.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to have to watch looking through the way the session is set up. 15 incident point limit before a drive-through penalty, and then you will get disqualified after 25 incident points. So you see a lot of guys going off track. That Soto ran off track in that battle with Hauk. You know, estimating 18 and 20 for laps. You can only really do that less than once a lap, and that's with no contact. So a drive-through would definitely be catastrophic to the race. Speaking of getting back on track, though, Sorry Mott getting some fresh tires and some rubber, and she will be rejoining the track about a lap and a half down.
Good to see her back in the action pretty soon here. It's already about 6 minutes through. The teammates from real life trying to bump draft their way away from the pack. Yeah, Fiat Etik, who is trying to save the gas still down the straightaway into Le Mans chicane. But these two are saying, let's save fuel by treating this like a stock car almost.
You see a lot of the real world driving styles like the NASCAR here. When you're in the draft, not burning as much fuel because you can only be about 85 or 90% throttle and still catch up to the guy right on board. Jeansonne here, absolutely pushing Nathan Nicholson through NASCAR 3 and 4 here. Here comes Piatek though with a run on the outside. He's got no help yet. Soto to his outside trying to reclaim the lead. They're side by side, 2 by 2 coming through the tri-oval.
Run for the outside line. Etik still trying to find a way to poke from the outside for the in and out. Deeper the brakes as all group shuffle back. Soto forced way outside near to the concrete. And now we'll see things break up. But the winner in that battle, Etik, who was able to get to second. Soto does have the fastest lap at the very least, and big mistakes up front. Etik able to take the lead despite hitting the grass. Nicholson went wide nearly as well, Ray.
Absolutely. Watching this battle, guys, I mean, this is what the MX-5 real life puts on a good show. But what we're seeing right now, guys, is just absolutely phenomenal. Seeing who's going to work together, who's going to stay together working, as we see Ayrton coming up on Aaron right now. I'd like to see all three Wings and Wheels drivers of Jeansonne, Trey Burke, and Ayrton Hauk all working together right now, all three in line.
Well,
as Trey goes around,
I think we were both having the same thing because they're close buddies we were talking about just before today's race. And we're expecting them potentially maybe to hook up together. Trey Burke last year competing in USF 2000. How we seen him being one of the main contenders last year as the UF 2000 rookie in real life. Maybe now they'll need to work together because they nearly lost a full second with that send decision in the infield. And it's 2 by 2 for the leaders, nearly yet again in front regardless.
And that 2 by 2 action definitely will help out Trey Burke and Hauk and Green, but they're close up. But they were already on, oh my gosh, playing ping pong each other's back bumpers in the battle that's the lead pack here. I guess someone up front braked a little bit earlier than expected and caused an interstate style checkup, but Nicholson trying to run Piatek now. Get to the lead, got help from Soto. Huge run through NASCAR 3. Soto to the outside though. He's going to leapfrog Nicholson side by side for the lead through NASCAR 3 and 4.
That's how aggressive the bump drafting is. You see in the previous shot, right to the edge of the bumper. Still, it's Soto up to 131 miles an hour from the outside. Jeansonne able to help, and here comes the run. Trey Burke saying, let's go 3 wide for second. Forced to back off, no place to take the run. But I'll turn to you, Ray, for a moment because we were talking about this before the race. Draft was expected to be huge with this car. That's why, in part, the 4th of July race for an afternoon start was expected to be a wild one. It's kind of lived up to it on the road course.
Oh, absolutely. And going into this, we knew there was going to be a lot of drafting in just this race. July 4th, absolutely going to be fireworks happening. The way these cars draft off each other so well, they're essentially stock cars, right? So when they get together, they get the good push, and as you're seeing right now, we're going into turn 1 and we have a heck of a race, just 2, 3, 4 wide going into 1.
All that shuffling. Piatek able to hold on. A bit of defensive driving, causing contact, and the buddies end up making contact. The 58, Hauk going around. So that friendly banter's not going to be so friendly with that squeeze.
Now, I'd love to be a fly sitting in that Discord voice chat right now, but how it going to lose a ton of time and ton of spots. His car doesn't look too badly torn up, but he doesn't have any draft to help whatsoever. Sally Mott close to 1-2. I'm actually only a couple seconds behind him.
And remember, 15 incident points, it's a drive-through penalty. Touches like that, at least a 2x there with the light contact, but some of these drivers are getting pretty close to the limit, or in theory, getting towards that mark with some of the aggression mid-pack in this main group.
Yeah, definitely the way they're playing bumper cars up here in this lead pack, trying to get to the front. iRacing's pretty realistic with the draft model, but, one bad bump here can definitely add up for a 2x or 4x. I think that's why some people are a little more hesitant to push. They don't want to build up those incident points. I think a slight bump like a normal draft, it won't give you any incident points, but it hits them a little too hard, it might give you a 2x there, and some drivers try to avoid that. Jeansonne, Soto side by side for the lead. I think these two are basically content running single file the whole road course, and second to get to the NASCAR track. It's just but we'll go 2-3 wide. We don't mind.
Yeah, how about that cut though? Piatek able to get alongside and zip on by near contact between Soto and Jeansonne. That opens up the door for the 62 outside. Jeansonne does have the preferred line to be able to defend there. So some interestingness when it comes to this lead group and some back and forth. Now, we do have, as these drivers settle things down here, and Jeansonne seems to now be able to hold off the defenses as Piatek has to back off, the ability to speak with the drivers during the race action here tonight for the opening race of the season. Ayrton, how real quickly joining us here, what happened in that run through the in and out for the out portion last time by?
Yeah, I think we were just coming out on the oval part and going inside of Trey Burke. I don't know if I was 3 wide there or not. The hole closed up a bit quicker than I expected, and with these cars, that little front right to left rear contact, honestly, I expected it to turn him, which I would have been fine with, but it ended up kind of backfiring on me and getting me around. But with how those guys are racing, if I can keep my nose clean and run some good laps, get some draft off these guys ahead, we might be able to go and put it at them on the second half. And you really never know with the pit stop and how dirty or how really aggressive this racing's been. Maybe we'll see a yellow and get back up there.
Well, on the bright side, you found Sally Mott to help you to try and close up to the next pack.
So maybe Sally and I can get something going here, catch these cars ahead of us, and then just start kind of clicking it off from there.
I was going to ask, how do these cars feel in terms of the handling of that for this race tonight? Nathan Nicholson, a part of the setup building group for this race tonight.
Yeah, no, they feel really good. I really like the setup we're running. The kind of baseline on these cars is it feels like it floats around a lot. And now that these tires are in with this setup, it definitely feels a lot better on this track, and definitely a lot more fun to drive than the baseline.
On that note, we'll let you close up to the next group. You are just a couple tenths or so from drafting distance from the 7th through 9th group. I'll let you get back to work.
Thank you.
How quickly to the gear shifts. The lead group, mind you, has been getting a little bit hectic because Deacon Greenfield has been trying to join the conversation, got the second at the stripe. Jeansonne back to the race lead after losing it down the backstretch last time by. Some different drivers trying to show their faces to the front here, Braden.
That's 7 laps down, and this one already gone by pretty quick, and so far a 6-car breakaway after losing Hauk there the last couple laps by, talking to him, hearing his side of the story. But Trey Burke, Nicholson, Soto, Piatek, Greenfield, and Jeansonne, 6-car battle here, and so far it's basically the same story. They're single file through the road course portion, come through the out part of the in and out here, and at this point the heat starts to turn up, and they're 2 or 3 wide by the time they hit the start finish line.
By the way, Greenfield, one of the rear world racers as well, just last month scored his first hometown podium in sports car racing at Summit Point on April the 21st, in fact, should say. Already showing some aggression. He's also someone who runs these cars in the league scene throughout the week. So he's at the back of the lead group. Right now, the top 6 or so separated by 0.6 of a second up to the front. 15 minutes of the action so far. And so far, your pick for tonight, Ray, I believe it was with Aaron, is looking strong. He's still up front.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Aaron, he's dedicated. He's pushing. Anyways, we're going 3 wide behind him, guys. And I can't... Yeah, we got 3 wide, Nicholson in the middle coming down here. See how they sort this out.
Oh, how about 4 wide for a moment? This is a little bit bold to go on the apron. Piatek saying, let's go under the yellow line. Why not? As Nicholson takes the lead for a moment. Soto shuffle back to second. That was a little bit bold for a moment.
That was really bold, especially saw Trey Burke there, got to the party a little bit late, thought about going 5. They were staggered 5 wide for a split second going through turn 1, but out on top, Nathan Nicholson. And I don't think there's any preferred line you want to be coming out of the road course. I mean, you go through the bus stop, you can get a huge run, you can rebuild that run coming off of turn 4 if you need to. So I don't know if you want to be the guy leading the pack or do you want to be the guy back in the pack?
I think at this point you want to be in the back right now, right? The leader is just a sitting duck. Watching Trey and Nathan, just like in real life, they're aggressive. And you're seeing the aggressiveness going into 1. And this is putting on a heck of a show for us, guys.
We've seen that aggressiveness at Charlotte as well for Nicholson in particular, as well as from Piatek. Piatek, mind you, has been making these bold moves while trying to save the gas. And the major thing is, on the sim at least, it's the fuel jugs that come into play if you have to come down. Every second down pit road is critical. As in, every gallon of fuel is critical to make sure you make it on gas, and better yet, have maybe a click less in the tank compared to others to save that fuel. Drivers like Piatek started off this race looking like they were going to be full conserve. Others are now saying, what's a fuel save? As Soto gets a slowdown.
That's going to be crucial. Heartbreak for Soto. I don't know how long will it slow down. Well, he's already got it served. Same with Deacon Greenfield. So they've kind of spread out this lead pack. You're only 4 cars really in the running as of now, but they'll get that draft and should be caught up by the time to hit the NASCAR 3 and 4 next time around. But Oliver Piatek goes from 3rd to 1st in just 1 lap. But hang on, I'm going to hold my breath. Nicholson around the outside. Gosh, it's crazy to watch the draft because these guys get absolutely huge runs going into turn 1 here every single time.
Yet again, the run though to the outside. Jeansonne trying to get the squeeze. Once again, shuffle back. Still about half the race to go. And pretty soon, have to think about the top-offs here. When thinking about in the past to this style of racing, might see the pit stops on the very obvious part to the final third or so, you would think. But remember, Nicholson's the one who set the number in theory. That's going to be interesting how long they can go. Ray, what was the indication from Nate on how long they can go?
You know, from what I'm kind of gathering from him, about at least 2/3 of the race. So we're going to see over halfway before we're going to have to really look at it. The strategy right now, though, with all these guys trading the lead, like who's able to save? Are they trying to swap out for saving at all? Is that even a thought process in their heads right now? Or do they all just want to be at the front?
And remember, the more you spend time up front, the more that burns the fuel, so to speak, compared to being in the draft. That's why Piatek was trying to save so much early on, and now he's right now, Olivier back to the bumper. They have seen a car lose the draft just about. Deacon Greenfield trying to hold on very much so to Joshua Soto. Both of these drivers dealt with slowdowns the previous time or so by. And right now, Greenfield seems to be the one left out to dry from it.
Yeah, I'm sure he's trying everything he can to stay in the draft, forcing it in the road course, forcing it through the bus stop here, trying to get the draft off of Soto. The problem is Soto's going to have a huge run off of Jeansonne's back bumper, so it's going to be tight here for Deacon Greenfield if he's able to hang on the lead pack. If not, he's going to be in La La Land. Next car's about 7.5 seconds back, just now coming out of the bus stop.
Look who's in the race lead now, though. Trey Burke, after all those moves, able to get to the point for now. Just as I say that, everybody says, let's go 3 wide yet again with 25 minutes to go. Trey's been pushing hard. Seen for Jeansonne saying, you know what, if you're going to go down there, I will too.
Yeah, too wide through turn one here, and that bottom line doesn't really work a whole lot there for Jeansonne, having to slow up and going to be on the outside through the International Horseshoe here. Trey Burke, though, with an inside bit bumper love from Nicholson. A lot of bumper love. Kind of try and move Jeansonne out of the way, and here comes Nathan Nicholson back to the inside.
Another crossover, another move to be able to get in front. Nathan Nicholson continuing to show some good moves in precision up at the front here as Soto tries to dice it out. All this battling, by the way, has helped Greenfield hold on to the draft, so this is exactly what Deacon Greenfield needed to stay within the toe. Is, well, a wrestling match. Piatek trying to run away. Don't know how long that will last as we fall on board with Trey Burke. A jack of all trades, Ray. He's done everything from USF 2000. He's made starts in Indy Pro 2000. IMCA competition. USAC was a talking point last week. He even made a Craftsman Truck Series start a couple years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Started there at Mid-Ohio in the Craftsman Truck Series, currently competing full-time in the USAC Silver Crown. So he's an oval driver right now, guys. He does have experience, like I said, USF 2000s. He can wheel that. You put him in an oval car, on dirt, he can wheel that. You put him on pavement, he can wheel that. You put him in a sim rig, and guys, you can see it right now. He can wheel that as well. Great competition, heck of a competitor. I'm sure he misses his buddy Ayrton right now, but here he is working with Aaron Jeansonne, and see how this draft forms here, guys.
The only thing Trey Burke can't wheel is a ping pong paddle.
Well, can you put wheels on ping pong paddles, or am I misunderstanding the never mind.
I would say I have the honor of working out with Trey Burke quite a bit, and I say he's bad at ping pong, but he got second in our gym tournament championship, I believe, or he was in the final match at least. I wasn't even invited to play. I was that bad, so yeah, he's pretty good at everything he does.
23 minutes to go. Meanwhile, we're just about towards that mark with the next 7 minutes for the fuel to start to majorly come into play here. Another swap around for Aaron Jeansonne. Again, one of several racers representing Wings and Wheels Foundation here tonight. We mentioned how already Trey Burke was amongst those in that category as well here. Trey Burke currently dealing with a lot of pressure from behind. Why don't we do this then? As we mentioned, I have the ability to talk real quick with drivers. Trey Burke joins us very quickly into the booth here. Trey, how are you dealing with all the pressure up front so far?
Oh, we're all good. You know, we're just figuring it out, trying to stay with the draft and keep each other company, kind of, and make sure we don't take each other out too soon.
Well, I believe there's some more in-depth questions from your ping pong mate, Brayden Laster here.
I said he's really good. Yeah, I said the only thing you can't wheel is a ping pong battle, and then said you end up being one of the better people up there at Pit Fit. So having the draft though, but you've had a lot of friends, and Eric and Hauk, they're one of your best friends early in this one. He left you a little bit ago, try to dive bomb you. How'd that feel?
It's all good. You know, that's kind of how it is. I'm not really too worried about it. I'm sure I'll meet my end here pretty soon. I'll just try not to blame it on anybody else. Not that he did, but you know.
Well, he said that he said when he sent it in there, so he would have turned you and not him. So.
Yeah, so you know it's all good. He'll be fine. We're all just kind of working the draft here. Honestly, the way that we're racing, he'll definitely catch up to us here pretty soon. If he's not too far back, I don't really know where he's at, but
he's way back.
There's a couple packs, so I don't know who's where, but we're hopefully he can get back up to us. Oh shit! And there we go.
Oh, and a crash. Trey Burke into the wall. He slams into the wall and apparently is elated from it. Trey Burke with the first major crash of the day. We apologize for the language as Trey Burke loses all the parts of the front of the race car. Well, how about that for your first major wreck of the season?
Well, he called it, said he was coming to his end here very soon, and there it was. Had a little bit of help from Jeansonne. But Jeansonne's got a bad bump. Not sure who that bump was from, but it definitely didn't help Trey Burke at all. And luckily, he was right there coming off of NASCAR 4, so he didn't lose too much time. I mean, he has to pit anyways.
Well, that interview took a turn, but you can tell Trey's having fun, Ray.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. There he is going for the lead and having a good time, right? Sitting there chatting with us, and we got to right along with him, see his thoughts as he's hitting the wall. This is the great thing about having one quick repair, though, guys, and get his top off. Is that going to play a difference later on in this race, pitting when he does with the quick repair and topping off his fuel tank?
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one, if anything. Just past halfway, should be good on fuel, but not on track position, obviously. He has taken the repairs to the car. 16 seconds was the delta. Last time by the way, Joshua Soto also ducked out from this grouping. So, pit stops are indeed on, Braden, as we take a look at Chabelski, who is also amongst those, trying to close up the group from fifth on back in Munster Battle Pack.
Yeah, Brian Chabasky here. He's got James Watson right in front of him, and kind of going through NASCAR 1 2. They got 5-6 car pack here. Joshua Straka, Sally Mott, Ayrton Hauk there, and NASCAR 5-car battle. They were within a second and a half or so of each other, crossing the line last time by. Also, Keith Carpenter and Big Glenn Richardson have all pit for fuel, so they should be go from here, I believe. So we're starting to see, pit stop time. Johnson, Piatek, Greenfield, their leaders. Here comes Nicholson side by side in pit entry. So everyone coming down pit lanes. I don't think it's going to hurt Trey Burke too bad at all.
Let's find out how much time they spend in this lane, not expecting tires with the race distance. How much fuel do they put in? Already, Jeansonne hard to the box. Nicholson overshooting his box. Looks like he'll take the fast repair. No fast repair taken from Piatek. He'll keep the damage on the front bumper for the top off. 13, 14, 15, 16-ish seconds. And there's the rev up for Piatek to come out. Just about 16 seconds for each of them. Deacon Greenfield closed up to the pack with his entry to spot a 17-second pit stop.
Yeah, definitely not the greatest of launches I've ever seen. Oliver Piatek, they had a great launch out of his pit stall, able to inherit the tentative lead. And Trey Burke, where's he at? He's still quite a ways back, so that wreck definitely hurt him a little bit. He might be able to go up here and catch these guys, but has no draft help whatsoever.
Up now, the current race leader. Interestingly enough, look at fourth. That is where Soto cycled on his own. So you have the drivers yet to pit still just in front of Soto. Then you have Soto, who is another 4 or 5-ish corners back just about, who will be on his own for the next pit, but will be the carrot on a stick, so to speak, to chase down.
Yeah, Soto up here is kind of minding his own business, and no one to really work with. So they're going to be about a second, maybe a little bit more slower without any draft help. We don't have a complete measurement on that, but just running some quick numbers about where I expected to be. So kind of a sitting duck per se. But meanwhile, these guys still got to get bunched up because the lead pack isn't bunched up really at all.
Yeah, this lead group, only a 14-second buffer to Soto, keep in mind. Soto last time by on his own ran a 2:11 flat. That's what basically the leader of this group and Hauk did on his own. Everyone else was 2 seconds back despite the draft in this group. So right now, these drivers trying to stretch as long as they can here. Things aren't looking great for them strategy-wise, though, with the delta, with how much time they lost to start off the race, losing the main pack.
Yeah, for sure. Going to be interesting to see where things line up. Hauk still that advantage through one and through in and out. Actually, is that Sally Mott? It is Sally Mott. So 1 lap down, but cycles right in the battle of this lead pack, and this mid pack battle is heating up. Hauk yet to I am completely mistaken. I lost that car you're watching, but that Hauk watching, is that Chabasky? I'm sorry, Chabasky. They've all yet to pit 14 laps on this run, and they've got Sally Mott just kind of in that not lead lap bubble. And then they have Soto and Piatek there trying to run them down.
So Mott's become the helper essentially, now is the leader of this pack with that swap. You also throw into the mix, as you were talking about, James Watson. An interesting character. He is one of the team owners for the setup side, in fact, for Team Watson, the namesake. Very colorful race cars, very quick race cars. Always loves to run on the road courses, though, when it comes to himself. He's one of those who races a ton under his own namesake here, too, in the Team Watson banner here, Braden.
Again, a huge running team coming out of NASCAR, too. That's Houck and Sally Mott right in front of him. Mott, like we mentioned, one lap down, about gets turned by Houck into the wall, able to keep it straight, keep it going. Mott, one of the other drivers, not having the greatest run, had that early incident spin and never really recovered from having a tow. So we're getting towards the final 30-ish% of this race. So winding couple laps. So if you're not in the lead pack, you can kiss your chances goodbye. But Soto, if get one of these guys pit, Soto would still cycle through the lead about 4 seconds from Piatek, Nicholson, and Jeansonne.
This is going to be, for these drivers at least, the battle for the top 10. They still practice the bumping. One thing I've noticed a lot here too, Braden, is the damage model. We mentioned the new damage model effect for all cars now on the platform starting this month. The bumpers have taken a fair amount of damage, but most people have elected to not repair it.
Yeah, I don't think they're too worried about it, or they just don't know that they have that damage, and they'll come and pit road and they see they have optional damage, but the car's handling fine and it's running fine. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Well, there was the saying before that these cars run like tanks in terms of durability, right? So that's kind of crossed over. Speaking of crossing into the streams of draft, Soto is within 2 seconds of being caught. Piatek, 13 minutes away from the checker flag here, is within 2 seconds to the 07.
Yeah, had a huge run there from Nathan Nicholson and Jeansonne through a NASCAR 3 and 4, and get ready to come back through in and out, and get another run through NASCAR 1 and 2 over Soto, who has no help whatsoever. So, I mean, I don't know what Soto can really do. Just kind of fall back, accept the fact that it's going to get passed, and hopefully try to recycle through the lead. I need to get back in the lead pack here. I mean, there's not much you can really do when you're going to be by yourself. They're going to go by you about 5-10 miles an hour faster.
And Ray, the interesting thing amongst this, keeping an eye on these top racers, 3 seconds quicker than those in the second pack so far. They have been dialed in, whether it's in the draft, whether it's been on their own. The pace has been electrifyingly quick for your lead pack today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see here they are working together, and that's what the key is to this, right? With a heavy drafting track, even though it's a road course, the draft plays such an important role on keeping everyone together, picking your right partner, keeping your fenders on, playing it safe. We've seen how the draft has worked really well for a lot, and then in the unfortunate case of Trey, you can see where the draft can send you to the wall as well.
And now, with under 12 minutes to work with, we are estimating at 6 laps to go. We can tell you this, as you see how things are going in the current lead group. Not too well for your current leader. Contact for Houck with Mott. The draft's caught up for Soto. There's the spin for Mott in the lane group. That's going to slow them up. Soto in the second pack just lost the net lead as the other draft pack has completely converged on the racetrack. Let's take a look.
That's heartbreak there for Sally Mott. Not only is she going to get turned on the wall, but talk about the incident point number, that's going to disqualify her. So Mott was 1 lap down, trying to stay kind of on the lead lap or prevent from going another lap down, and Houck gets to run through in and out and turn Sally Mott into the wall. So Sally Mott is Sally out of here.
Now that's going to reduce that main pack to 3 for those yet to take their service, with about 10 minutes to work with. But that second pack, that net race lead group, as just said during all that, they've closed up to Soto. Soto's now 3rd in the pack. It's going to be a curious one for Soto on fuel mileage. He took the shortest stop out of anybody, but the earliest stop on anybody. Is that going to be enough to make the distance after running on his own for about 7-10 minutes?
I mean, definitely burning a lot more fuel than anyone else. Now it's in that lead pack here, the lead draft, so it's not going to be burning nearly as much. And he pitted a lap or two earlier than the rest of the guys, if I recall correctly. So it's going to be tight. I'm not 100% sure what the fuel number is for these guys, but I mean, they're able to make it a little past halfway, which I believe they were when they pitted. They should be A-okay. It's going to come down to when that white flag comes out.
Keep an eye on the main group still. That is yet to pit. How Kerwin leading the group, but starting to angle a bit on that yellow line. Is this the time they come in? Looks like the signal's there. Yes, these three will come in together. Helk trying to go aggressive. Watson goes conservative. Chabelski goes ultra conservative. They all make the cone, no problem.
They're able to keep it rolling, keep it going straight for the most part, and see him there. A little bit of a battle on pit lane, and the lead pack is going, or the pack is going to inherit the lead. See him going by him there. So Watson, Chabelski, and Houck going to be no contention for the overall race win, but nice to lead a couple laps in the king.
So now, under 5 estimated laps to go in this race, 9 minutes or so on the clock. Your contenders for the win: Piatek, Nicholson, Soto, Jeansonne. Ray, how do you try and get this move done? As, hold on a second, Nicholson saying, let's do it in the infield.
Aggressive move, like we were talking about earlier. Nathan's so aggressive, not only in real life, but here on the sim. Can he hold off the lead?
Oh, Piatek locked it up. Nicholson missed the corner again. That's the second time he's had Piatek behind him, and he missed the corner. Now to the lead of Soto.
And that opened the door perfectly through the horseshoe there, the west horseshoe, to open the inside line. Joshua Soto the inside, like someone's holding the door open for him. Nicholson slides the line right behind him. Jeansonne and Piatek, still a 4-car breakaway. But definitely, you can't be making mistakes like that this late in the run. Incident points have been adding up, I'm sure, and you might be one off track away from having to do a drive-through late in this race. There's no coming back from that.
That's going to take a moment or so for the Delta Sport entry to recover there. Nicholson going aggressive again for Le Mans chicane. Does Nicholson commit to it? He does. Soto forced to the right side. Onto the curbing goes Nicholson. Not normally a passing situation unless you're brave. Nicholson is the brave one in this pack for now.
I can't believe Nicholson was able to make it stick. Huge bump from behind. That's Oliver Piatek there. Back bumper, Joshua Soto trying to make the outside line work, and they're definitely digging up here, making this middle-ish groove side by side. Not really, you can't really side draft a whole lot in this car, but we can definitely get normal draft. We do have a spin in the back, Keith Carpenter around in 12th, but he's kind of minding his own business. He's about to become lap traffic, though, so that will provide a pick for these guys to maybe make a pass.
2x2 with about 7 minutes to work with, though. 3 wide now as Soto loses drafting help. Piatek way outside. That was not going to stick.
No, absolutely not. But as we go further in this race, being more and more aggressive going into turn 1, that's going to be your make or break right there, right? That's going to be the corner where you're either going to have a heck of a move or you're going to regret it.
And one of the major things, too, is testing the moves, Braden, too, when it comes to style of racing. It's around the time when drivers try and see how far can they get with the draft. We've already seen how far they can get 4 wide and 3 wide. It's going to be tricky in the moment of things, though, what these drivers do.
Yeah, Nicholson still the advantage, playing a mind game. I mean, you want to be up front all the time, but with a draft track like this, especially the Mazda and Daytona combination, being out front is not necessarily a good thing at all to kind of sit and duck. And we talked about a little bit ago, where do you want to be when you get that white flag lap notice? You know, they're going to have some guys maybe sandbagging, trying to be back in this lead pack to get the run through NASCAR 1, 2, 3, 4 down the bus stop if you can. And Soto going to inherit the lead, and I mean, see Nicholson not really putting up a fight at all. I don't think he wants to.
Yeah, electing to go to the back of this group. Piatek saying, I want to be at the front of this. Nicholson saying, you know what, I'll work with you instead. All sorts of work all the way to Le Mans chicane for the bus stop. Soto yet again having to go to the right side, forced to check up hard. And yet again, better line for the exit of the bus stop for those who are brave to stick to the left side.
Now, brave is definitely the right word to use there because I don't know where these guys are at incident limit-wise, but Piatek able to hang on to lead for now. Has help from Jeansonne. Here comes Soto to the outside. He's got a little bit of help from Nicholson, but with only 4 cars, I mean, they're going to be 2 by 2 and kind of make a gridlock here coming to the tri-oval. So going to be interesting to see who picks what lane coming to the checkered flag.
5 minutes to go. 3 estimated laps to work with. Soto that time got the lead lap. Ray, I'll ask you this. What do you think will end up being the way to get this done? Where do you want to be if you're in this situation?
You know, I want to be second, third, fourth car line. I don't want to be sitting out front right now. Sitting up front right now is just a sitting duck. And we want to be able to keep it safe. You want to be able to pick your own line. And right now, we'll see if these guys start playing nice with each other, knowing we're getting close to the end, or we're going to be more aggressive. With Nicholson up there, I'm assuming we're going to be mixing this up quite a bit throughout these next couple laps.
We're just saying Nathan Nicholson a little bit of an aggressive driver.
I mean, if the shoe fits.
I mean, to give Nathan credit, 2-time national karting champion, Spec Miata champion, national Spec MX-5 points championship before, top 5 of the point standings in real life. He's got a resume that says you're allowed to be aggressive.
And not just, you know, like you said there, his real life resume. I mean, that's not his Irish resume. That's his real life resume. So coming out here, able to have fun with these guys and put on a great show. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, kind of like Ray said, the shoe fits. It's going to be fun to watch these guys really start to go at it. Piatek, Jeansonne, kind of single file back there and back, try and make it work. But I think you're going to see the aggression turn up on all these guys here. I mean, I expect the white flag realistically, maybe not this time by, but definitely next time. Huge bump in the back, 3 wide. Jeansonne hit it 3 wide bottom, but Soto had some contact there, heavy contact with Piatek, able to keep it going though.
You know, I love seeing the aggressiveness on the racetrack, right? I don't like seeing them wrecking and punting each other. But when you're aggressive out there making moves like that, guys, that's what makes this racing just so much better than other racing out there. As we look, we're trying to go 3 wide here now. Nicholson in the middle.
Now Jeansonne running to the inside with all this too. Better run for Piatek. He's got the faster revs. Dead even on miles per hour though. Jeansonne has the shorter distance around Nicholson with a better run in the middle though. Down to 2 estimated laps to go, under 3 minutes on the clock. Jeansonne tries to make it stick to the inside and does. Yet again, a crossover for Nicholson.
Okay, as we're getting the final stages, there's one thing you don't know with it being time to race when the race is going to be over. To get a white flag at that point, and from there to get about 3.5 miles to figure out where you want to be next time to come around. Right now, Jeansonne wants to be the lead, and that's where he's at. Piatek going sliding right behind him. Nicholson in 3rd.
Soto wanting to make up some ground, ends up backing out of it back there. Jeansonne still trying to hold on at the point. Has Piatek, who has been trying to position himself all race to try and win 2 straight, 1 in the points pane. He sends it, takes the lead. Jeansonne crosses him up, goes for the lead once again to the outside. The Delta Sport entry to the inside. The work through the in and out for the exit of out. The Delta Sport entry once again makes it stick. Piatek to the lead.
Yeah, lap traffic's gonna come up. That's Keith Carpenter about 4.5 seconds slower a lap. So they should, in theory, catch him. Not this lap, but definitely next lap. That'll be a huge factor. He's gonna slide in for this draft and able to push who he wants. They're gonna be 3 wide for the lead. Nicholson in the bottom. That's Piatek in the middle and Jeansonne up top. An advantage going to Jeansonne, but he won't have the preferred line going through the bus stop.
We've seen that line work if you're able to clear, though. Nicholson's been willing to make it brave, though. Jeansonne says, I'm not going to work on the side-by-side this time. Nicholson, he's left out to dry, coming to the white flag this time.
Definitely heartbreaking there. Not where you want to be for Nicholson. I mean, huge gap there. I say heartbreaking, but that's not where you want to be at all. I mean, he's got a 10-car lead, which is great at any track and any other combination other than this. And I mean, look at the speed difference: 5, 6, 7 miles an hour faster. Those guys in 2nd and 3rd are behind him.
Back to the white flag here. 3, 4 wide. Nicholson and a pass in the grass. Piatek makes the move in the grass. He makes it stick for the race lead. Jeansonne stays middle. Soto tries to send it aggressive from the outside as they work their way to the infield.
They're able to keep it going. So far, no contact yet. Soto with advantage through through 1 and 2. Pietek side line right behind him. Expect him single file through the road course, then start to get double file coming through the NASCAR corners.
Can't confirm, white flag is waving. This is your final time around. Jeansonne right now in third. We've seen drivers win from here in this car before. Can he do it this time? Final lap is official in session. Soto currently the leader, but ascend again. Pietek trying to cut things off, parks it. Pietek to the race lead, coming towards the oval portion this time by.
And these leaders will actually get a run off the Keith Carpenter lapped car in the final lap here. Everything's going to be important as far as getting runs. Pietek with the advantage coming off of the road course person. Going through NASCAR 1 now. Soto in line behind him. Jeansonne and Nicholson. No one's really caught up to one another. Still trying to get together and get the draft going.
Who slices it up? Who times it up right? Soto not willing to make the move, it looks like, before the bus stop. Nicholson saying, let's go for all the moves. Right back to Soto. Still bumper to bumper coming up to the bus stop this time by.
And Pietek still with that advantage. No lap car coming into play yet. Soto in second. He's going to go through the grass a little bit. So far, though, no one really burnt up. No runs being made here.
Right now, it's Pietek up by 4 car lengths, down to 3. Soto trying to close through the final time, through NASCAR 4. Soto looks inside for now. Does he stay there for the move? A block off for Pietek above the line. Soto goes down. He gets the run. He gets the pull. Joshua Soto gets the run. Nicholson tries to pass in the grass, but it's Soto who wins the points-paying race for the first time in the history of Wings and Wheels.
I can't believe what we just saw there. That was absolutely spectacular racing. Holy cow. Getting it through on the grass, or not getting it through, but trying to make the move through the grass. Wow, that was definitely awesome to watch. And Soto started on pole. Didn't really seem like the favorite. I mean, he led the first couple laps, but was in that lead pack and able to pull it off.
What an amazing finish to our first inaugural points paying race, guys. That was just absolutely phenomenal.
And how about 2 passes in the grass attempts in the final 2 laps? You talk about boldness, Braden. We had it.
I mean, that was definitely bold to talk about being brave going through the bus stop there. And I'm surprised they weren't more packed up. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk some drivers and go through some results.
We're back after this.
When you want to be the best, you...
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com maconi.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage here on Maconi Entertainment. Wings and Wheels MX-5 action presented by GGT Energy Solutions. Joshua Soto picks up the victory tonight. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results as Nicholson and Heatek round out your top three. We'll speak with those drivers shortly. Aaron Jeansonne rounds up the top four. Deacon Greenfield ends up finishing in fifth. Then it's Chabelsky in 6th, 7th spot. James Watson, Burke in the 8th position with Hauk and Strecka, your top 10.
Definitely a great run all around. All those guys on the lead lap. Same with Keith Carpenter. Didn't come in the picture. I think he gave Piatek a little bit of some draft through NASCAR 3 and 4 there, and that's why they weren't able to really bunch up, coming to the checkered flag there. Glenn Richardson finishes one lap down, and Sally Ma, I believe, the only DNF after getting turned by Hauk there, and the final stage is 7 laps down.
That's all we talked about at the running order here tonight on Maconi Entertainment. What was a wild one? Let's take the time to speak with your top three runners here. Standing by, your race winner to start things off, Joshua Soto. You get the first points-paying win in the history of this series. How does that make you feel?
Oh, man, it feels great. Like, this is a really great race.
What was the pressure like, knowing how things were in the pack, but also the amount of aggression? And in turn, how did you plan that out for the win?
The pressure, going into the last lap was it was pretty intense. I was pretty much just planning to use the car in front's draft because there was a lap car, but he was a little bit too far away, and I realized that. And then Oliver ended up overtaking me into I forget which turn it is. He ended up overtaking me, so I just decided to change the strategy and see if I could get the win by drafting off him coming out the bus stop.
It was an exciting race, to say the very least, here tonight, Joshua. And in turn, how are you feeling about being a part of the inaugural campaign for this series, but also being a part of an event and series held by Wings and Wheels Foundation, one of the main charities in the racing circuit?
Oh man, it's great. Like I really like what Wings and Wheels does for the charity and things like. It's a very good charity. And it feels, it's amazing.
And of course, yes, indeed. Anyone you want to give a shout out to for this run tonight?
I want to thank the Wings and Wheels, first of all, for this series. I want to thank GGT and all the and also Maconi Entertainment for this broadcast. It's amazing.
Yes, indeed. We're so happy to have you here tonight, and congratulations on the win here on Maconi Entertainment for this race, Josh.
All right, thank you.
Joshua Soto, lost for words, but Nathan Nicholson, he was Mr. Excitement for a lot of the race. He's with Braden Lester.
And Nicholson, talk about the pass in the grass coming to the checkered flag. You were one of the, I don't want to say gutsy drivers, but you weren't going to go too wide at all, and you were 3 wide going through the grass. Talk us through the move coming to the checkered flag there.
Yeah, I mean, in MX-5 Cup, especially with no roofs, it's pretty much all the timing. Like, the entire race is just the timing that you have your gap out of the bus stop. So, I just lifted a little too much trying to gap it out. It looked like it was going to be interesting there for a little bit with the lap car, see if Oliver could pull off the win from the lead there. But, it was the only spot I could really find to try to beat him to the line, so I took it.
Then looking at you're one of the real world drivers in the lineup for the Wings and Wheels series, and you actually lead. Correct me if I'm wrong, you lead the Rookie of the Year standings for the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup series right now, and you're 5th in points. So talk us through kind of how iRacing relates to all of that.
Yeah, I mean, iRacing is a big training tool that I use just to get ready for those events. We're leaving for Canada in 3 weeks. Me and my teammate Aaron, we run all the time. These cars, the way they handle are very realistic. So it's great to have that opportunity to practice and be ready before we show up to the track.
Yep, of course. Anybody want to thank him? We're out to your podium finish here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to thank PRG, Whelen, all my real life sponsors, and also Wings of Wheels and GGT, everyone for putting this on. It was a great time.
Yep, of course. Well, you put on a great show for us, and we appreciate you coming out and running. And I'm sure we'll see you on many podiums this season.
Sounds good. See you guys soon.
Nathan Nicholson holds on to second spot tonight. Third spot tonight, Olivier Heatic ends up coming away third after, for much of the race, playing the strategy game, then leading several times, being aggressive with the run to the apron. He's with Ray from third. And
maybe.
Let's try this now with me then. Olivier, how would you describe your run tonight?
It was interesting to say the least. I mean, this track, it's not really about driver pace, driver skill, anything like that. It's honestly just who is in what position coming through the last sector. And we played the race perfectly, I'd say. Stayed up front, never lost a pack. We were quick all race. Coming on the last lap, I saw there's a lapper about 4.5 seconds ahead, but we were catching really quickly. So I played the risk to get into the lead and hope I could draft off that lapper coming to the line and maybe win the race. And I felt like we got that good, got a really good run out of this last chicane, but he moved up, they moved really high up to let me by, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted the draft. So in doing that, I lost my lead and went from first to third. But I mean, overall, it's still a really fun race, really clean racing.
And in turn, what drew you to the series, especially with you a part of the opener and winning the first race in the series history during the recruitment race? What drew you to this series and why?
I'm just good friends with Nathan, and he just told me if I want to run the league. I'm like, yeah, sure. And yeah, I've been running it since.
Well, the next time it runs is going to be an oval race at this track. Yes, the plan still estimated on the laps coming up, but Super Speedway Racing, 4th of July at a 1 p.m. start. Will we see you there, and what's your opinions on Super Speedway Racing in the Mazda MX-5s?
It looks like an awesome idea. Sadly, I have a real-world race at Rolling Road on the same day, so I will not be in attendance, but I'll definitely be watching, and it should be a great race.
Anyone want to give a shout-out to here tonight?
Just Delta Sport. It's a sim team I raced with. Just want to thank them for all the help.
Well, congratulations on the podium here tonight, Olivier.
Thank you.
Pietek able to come away with the podium tonight. And Ronnie, our discussion tonight, we do have Ray back here, and he also has caught up with Glenn Richardson. Ray?
Big Glenn, we appreciate you joining us tonight. What do you think about the inaugural Wings and Wheels Thursday night presented by GGT?
It was amazing, man. I appreciate you guys putting on this great show. It was great to race tonight. I'll be back on July 4th, and I just want to say, man, that was some clean racing. Very awesome.
Speaking of coming back on July 4th, what are some things after seeing tonight, what are you expecting for the July 4th race?
It's going to be one heck of a show, man. There's going to be a lot of drafting between the drivers and everything. One thing that I wanted to accomplish tonight was be able to try out the draft in the Mazda vehicle, because I'm used to driving NASCAR vehicles here on iRacing. So I wanted to see how the car responded to drafting here at Daytona, especially in over turns 3 and 4.
Speaking of that, we know you do a lot of NASCAR sim racing. How did you feel the difference was between the NASCAR and then the MX-5 here on at Daytona?
Well, personally, I feel it's much more manageable in the MX as far as the steering. Like in the NASCAR one, on those vehicles, the steering is much stiff. So like this Mazda fits more into my driving style.
That's great to hear. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
GGT, Sam, those guys, as well as you, Ray, and the team WWF.
I appreciate it, Glenn.
Thank you.
It's Glenn Richardson closing up our discussions with the drivers here tonight on Maconi Entertainment. Remember, the next time out, we touched upon it already, it's going to be a super speedway race at Daytona. It will be a July 4th matinee. 1 p.m. start is the start. 8 p.m. is the normal start times for every other race this season. But again, 4th of July means special occasions for what should be a firecracker of a race, Braden.
It's going to be a fun one to watch. I mean, we saw tonight how much the draft came into effect, and we're going to take the road course portion, and we're going to go from having NASCAR 1, 2, 3, 4 to just 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be a great show to watch here on Maconi Entertainment.
And your final thoughts overall tonight, the start of a new series, the start of Wings and Wheels' his foray into the league scene on iRacing. How are you feeling after seeing in this one how exciting this ended up being?
Just very honored to be able to be a part of this, being able to get this going. It's a great, overwhelming feeling of seeing the product that we have out there. Looking forward to the rest of the season. I want to thank Maconi Entertainment, GGT Energy Solutions, Sam helping make this possible, and then also my wife Bree, the executive director of Team WWF, being able to make everything possible.
On that note, calling the action tonight myself was Justin Prince. Alongside me, Brendan Laster. Also joined by Ray Mulvihill. For tonight, DJ Line was our producer. Thanks as well to those watching tonight's debut of Wings and Wheels on iRacing for the MX-5s. And we hope to stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. Thanks to the entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time when we go super speedway racing with an MX-5 at Daytona.